Hello. So, I wanted to do a video about Iris, right? Like, so a lot of people, say countering Iris is difficult or that she's really tough to beat. So she is very good. Her exposed soul does a lot of pure damage. Like, she is kind of like, a tank slayer. Like I said, she's pretty much like the javelin missile of Hero Wars. So she's very good against tanks, except Rufus, because she can do a lot of pure damage. You can pretty much double this with Albus Patron. Like I said, so this will do a lot of damage. I mean, the high end doesn't quite one-shot most tanks, but usually, right, the tank, because they're up front, they've taken enough damage from other sources that this does enough to finish them. By the time she ults, like, they're usually about half-life or whatever, and this will usually finish them. So this is a very good ability. Like I said, we can actually raise this a bit. Like, it raises by 350 power per level. So, like I said, this does, like I said, with Albus Patron, I think this does over 500,000 damage max when she's maxed, so quite a bit. Like I said, she also does a lot of AE physical damage with her other abilities. So she's pretty good. Like I said, she is a physical attacker, and pure damage is her old physical attacker, otherwise, even though she's a mage hero. So these abilities can get dodged, but they are also, because they are AE, this does make her a decent biscuit patron. Though because they can be dodged, it's not quite as reliable as some of the magic based or other pure damage based heroes like Maya for ode stripping, but she's still pretty decent at it. But most of the time you probably want Albus on her because you're trying to slay the tank. So a lot of people find her difficult to beat on, like I said, when she's like on a defending team, something like this. Like I said, so we have these defending teams like this one. Some people might find that one difficult. That's a pretty standard one. Like I said, this one is Anvari. Right, like I said, these are all four of these are teams I've seen in Guild Wars recently. And here's the thing, all four of these can actually be beat with the same 5 heroes. And I'll show you what we use, like I said. So, right, a lot of people have struggle against Iris, but there's one team that is very good against a lot of these Iris teams. That's because Iris herself doesn't inflict status effects, so she doesn't put a lot of pressure onto the Sebastian teams. Like so you can bring, like, so you don't. Since it's actually possible to sight out Sebastian, get some of these lines. Like against this one here, you don't even need to bring Sebastian here. You can literally you don't even need to bring Sebastian. So it's kind of like getting an extra hero. So a lot of these, like I said, so building like Iris teams, if you're going to use Iris on defense, you really have to try to pair with Leanne or something. Leanne, I think, gets you the best results, but if you don't have Leanne, like, I'll show you what happens. This is a Kark Iris team. I just run Trinity Twins. Right, and Trinity Twins is very good against Kark teams in general, but I do see this line in Guild Wars. Like, this is one I've seen people use as defense. We can speed this up. But Lars ults, like I said, there's not much here. There's not much to prevent the Kark team from losing here, the Kark Iris team. Like, yeah, Lars is dead, but we just have to finish off Aurora. Celeste is alive, which makes this pretty easy. I mean, there are a few times where you'll get a bad roll or something, Celeste will die to Kark, and then like maybe Aurora has all of her patron and then you time out or something. But pretty easy there. Like I said, you know, this won't be a guaranteed win because sometimes Kark will get less. Like you always have against Kark, you want Axel patron on Lars, not Celeste. So some Celeste can be vulnerable. But if you can't push him back though, that's when you become vulnerable Iris. But part of what makes the Twins so good versus Iris is that Lars pushes the team back. So even if Iris used her ult, once you push them back, you walk in front of the exposed soul. So it ends up just, like I said, not being a problem. Here's this one. This is a Dante tank team. I've done videos about Dante tank teams before, and Dante tank teams, if they're using Isaac or whatever, are pretty vulnerable to the Trinity Twins line. Usually you'll bring in Kane as your pet here, because Dante comes out way fast, because pets like Oliver and Axel literally do nothing for the first 15 seconds of battle, whereas Kane provides a mitigation boost to start the fight, because Dante's already ulted twice before Axel would have been able to do literally anything. So Kane providing that extra dodge could just give you a much stronger chance against like a Dante tank team. But again, like, even if though with, like, Isaac or whatever, like, you know, this team just blows this one out. Like I said, you have to be patient, though. Like, I did wait to use ults. I wanted to tell Ode was up before spamming the ults, because you do need to get Ode up before you start. Dropped a bunch of ults, or you will get hit with silence by Isaac. But like I said, Trinity Twins, again, blows this one out of the water. You just gotta hold back Ode to Serenity just a little bit. You just have to hold back your ults just long enough to get Ode to Serenity up. Then you just go to town. Kayn as your active pet helps a lot there. Versus Dante. And again, like, you just kind of blow them out with the twins here. This one is the easiest of these lines. Like, I'm not even sure why this line's so popular, because I don't think it's that good, but I do see it a lot. Like I said, this one, easy win for the twins. Like, shouldn't even have to explain. Like, I don't even need Sebastian here. I brought him anyway, because this line is so easy that a hero that's pretty much doing nothing for me is not a detriment, because it's just so easy to beat that line. Again, Krista did the most damage, followed by Aurora. Lars, Celeste, Sebastian, not doing a whole lot here. Took some damage, had some self-healing with Oliver. Right, like I said, so there's another win. The Andvari youth, I think Andvari makes it a bit tougher. This does make it a bit tougher, I should be clear. And we bring in Merlin here to help boost the magic damage. You don't really need Axel's Bubbles of Justice here. Like, Bubbles of Justice does not do anything versus pure damage. And the main source damage you have to be afraid of is Iris here. I mean, Celeste can do damage, but Aurora tanks magic, has really good magic mitigation, so Celeste doesn't do a whole lot of damage to Aurora. Certainly not more than Celeste can heal. So now you got the, like I said, because Merlin puts a field effect that actually boosts the magic damage enemies take. Like, this is not something that could be blocked by Ode. This makes Merlin a decent combat pet, but Ray said, well, Aurora doesn't get pushed back. Like, the back line of this line is very weak. Iris and Celeste both are very frail. Like, even though you don't get the full effect of Eye of the Storm, you still get enough to end Iris and Celeste here, and Sebastian died. And then, of course, Andvari is easy pickings. Like I said, these are all teams I've seen in Guild Wars. They're all fairly easy to beat. Right, so there you have it. There's definitely lines that the twins won't work with. Like, it just really depends. Like Leanne, for example, generally like Iris with Leanne. Certain Iris, Isaac lines, like Quadrinity plus Iris is probably good. But I just showed you like 4 lines I've seen in the Guild War like last week. For whatever reason, a lot of people like to put Iris in lines that don't really make it tough on the twins. So this is kind of an opening for the twins. The twins, if like said, aren't quite as dumb as they used to be, but they are very good versus a lot of Iris lines. And just the ability of Lars to move the enemy team forward allows your team to advance, which a lot of times, like if Iris already used her ult, allows your team to advance in front of the exposed soul, which now makes the soul not so exposed. So it's just really a really good team. For that case, like I said, so Iris, like I said, a lot of people think she's really tough to beat or she's overpowered. I'm like, you know, she's not a hero I've ever had too much trouble with. Like, occasionally there's certain lines, but you know, like I said, there's a lot of heroes that I find much more difficult. Like Iris, like so Isaac is tougher. Leanne's tougher. I think those heroes are harder to deal with most of the time than Iris. Anyway, I hope you guys found this video informative and fun. Thank you for watching.